life and confidence coach Dianna Leeder, and this is my podcast, the Crave More Life Roadshow. It's here we talk about emotional hits and lovingly kicking our own asses to get through them. Just so you know, it always comes down to being your beautiful, sassy self, living and loving from you, no matter what. So join me to hear about the healing journeys of other women, and you just might become a DIY ass kicker too. Hey DIY ass kickers, welcome back to the Roadshow. My guest today is Atlantis Wolfe. Atlantis is one of the amazing healer authors in Find Your Voice, Save Your Life 3 Powerful Healers Spiritual Stories. Atlantis is a shamanic life coach and workshop leader who collaborates with her spirit guides, power animals, and galactic dragons. Yep, I said that, galactic dragons, to support people seeking solutions to their chronic pain and mysterious medical conditions. Her joy is helping people discover their personal power. Atlantis is a dragon medicine woman, a hot cocoa connoisseur, and an artery for divine love. You'll find how to connect with Atlantis in our show notes. So welcome to the Roadshow, Atlantis. I'm really happy that you're here.
Hi, Diana. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for talking me into saying things that I don't necessarily want to say, but I'm like, yeah, what the heck? Let's just go ahead and do that. I'm very good with questions and answers, so any question, I always like to say, whatever question you have is completely acceptable, because I don't mind saying, yeah, I'm not going to answer that question. But any question I will answer, yeah. So if do you want the desert island question answered first?
I do, but you know what? Not first. I want it second, because I want you to just talk a little bit about your chapter. I want to tell people about the chapter and where it came from for you and what it did for you in writing it.
Sure. So my chapter was about the, I always like to tease Laura DeFranco, who's the publisher for all these books for Brave Healer Productions, and say that this is all Laura's fault. Every time I give an interview, I'm like, basically, this is all Laura's fault. Because the chapter is about me taking her class. So she did an intuitive writing class, which she still continues to offer 2 or 3 times a year. And I was in this writing class while I was a medical massage therapist, and I had a room in a chiropractor's office, and I had 2 kids, and I'm a single mom, and I was 12 years into my practice. But I never wanted to do just that. I always wanted to be a writer. In fact, I wanted to be a writer right from the get-go. I wanted to go from high school to college to learn writing and to be an English major, and my dad said, no. Like, your brother can't go to school to be an engineer. I'm an engineer. You're going to be an engineer. So I got toddled off to school to be I ended up being a civil engineer with a minor in environmental engineering. But I thought, okay, fine, go ahead, put me in college. I am going to dual major in English and engineering. So I got through engineering. I had to take calculus twice. I wasn't the best student in the class, but I never got lower than an A- in my English classes. And so I always sort of just was reading and writing and journaling. But the book chapter is about me going to this class and basically feeling comfortable enough or feeling pushed by spirit when, that voice in your head or that little like, come on, it's time to grow up, it's time to be who you are. You're old enough to just admit things about yourself that are really normal to you and not normal to other people. So I just took a deep breath for the first class, and I just sort of, to be totally honest, I can't say it was on purpose. It was more just this rising feeling, which is what I write about, that it had to happen. What we call in the spiritual world or the shamanic world, a world where we work with both the spirits that have passed away, the spirits you can't see, and with the elements of the earth. And it was this calling, like, you have to do this. And so I just sort of admitted, it was this coming out moment of what it's like to be me. And to be me is to see spirits of people who have passed away while I work on people on my massage table. I see their ancestors, I see their spirit guides, so that can be ascended masters like Jesus and Buddha, or it could be angels. I see their power animals around them, which could be the animal that's trying to help them in their journey through life. It could be not just like a dog or a pet or something like that. You know, those spirits are around them, but a power animal would be an animal that's working with you, like sea turtle works with me to teach me the things I hate, which is patience. I hate patience. Sea turtle medicine, who is my power animal, teaches me to slow down because they live for hundreds of years. You can't live hundreds of years, just go, 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 burn, burn, burn. You have to slowly glide through the ocean of life and find your cosmic drift.
Right.
So it teaches me patience, it teaches me that. So I came out and basically said this, and the last thing that I said, which is also in the chapter, is, by the way, I also see dragons, which was the moment of like complete and utter failure of social ego. Like, I'm going to be cool, I'm going to drift through, nobody's going to know me, I'm going to be safe, I'm going to be hidden, I'm just going to do my thing. But what that means is that I actually see dragons. I have a dragon guardian. I see dragons all over. I'm called to work with dragon medicine, which is the oldest beings in the universe. When the universe was created, were angels and dragons. And so these are the two beings that have no ego. The ego was created for duality. You have a soul, and then you have an ego. And one looks at the other, and they watch each other dance through all these different human experiences for all these lifetimes, which is great, until the ego gets out of control and forgets that really it's about coming back to the soul. You know, it's like sending out a ship and having the ship come home. Coming home is that sacred divine love, juicy awesomeness that's your soul, that's the center of you. And so I mean, and there's other stuff, you know. I'm a star being. My first incarnation was not Earth, and it was this moment of just like, I'm just gonna put it all out there and see what happens. So I was terrified, and I almost turned off the Zoom screen and thought, I don't know these people. It's Zoom. It's great. I'm just gonna turn it off and be done. But what happened? Yeah. But what happened was Laura just said, awesome. Who's next? And really, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm so loyal to her, because she had the perfect reaction, which is, oh, nice. Okay, moving on. Like, it wasn't, there was no judgment, there was no penalty, there was nothing. There was just this moment of vulnerability that was met with a nice soft cushion of, okay. And when someone accepts you, then you feel not just comforted, but you feel safe.
Yeah.
If someone just accepts who you are, you feel safe enough to take maybe one more step out of your dragon lair, and maybe you do a little more talking about all the cool stuff you do, because it's really cool to be a slut for planetary service. I mean, I meditate with other ladies who have dragon spirits, and we do a lot of great work, and there are people around the world right now who are meditating with big spirits around the earth for nothing other than love and peace and everybody to get along.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I want to point out that it's, you know, when you talk about just being safe, you know, being Laura's response to what you said, your own truth. You know, we may not all see dragons, but we all have our own truth. And being able to having the nerve to be able to put it out, and knowing that what comes back is part of, yes, it's part of what encourages us, but it's that putting out, you know. That's what I think about, that you know, that putting out that's so validating and healing all by itself.
And it's scary. I mean, it's scary to say, because it's just degrees. So maybe it's really scary for somebody to say, I have an opinion, if you were brought up when no one asked your opinion, or you were never validated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all just layers. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all have those scary layers of, you know, the whole family is crazy for football, and you know, you're like, I hate football. Like, there are levels to scary, but saying it for the first time, it doesn't matter what you're saying. It's like what you're saying when you're talking about speaking your truth. It doesn't have to be anything highly unusual. The whole point is that you just want to be who you are in your full expression of yourself and just be allowed to be whoever you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we are all unique, and what we own is different. And yeah, you're right. It's just be who you are. Yeah,
But
which is
also,
why it's okay to say slut. That's it.
you're such a slut for confidence, Dianna.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it.
There you go. But I
Okay.
also, I will say that I believe the reason why I'm called to kind of go out and um, make a path on all the spirituality is to normalize the experience for other people, because there's lots of other people who don't have anyone to turn to. They don't have anyone to say, is it normal that I see colors around people? Yes it is. It totally is. Is it normal when I have a conversation and I can see like someone's mother or father, or some close relative who's passed away around them? Yeah. Is it normal to talk to crystals and feel different ways for different crystals? Yeah, totally normal, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
really, there's a lot to that too, that we all live in each other's shelter.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. There's something about normalizing that kind of um, connection,
Hmm.
and just being open about it and sharing it. I mean, even if we start within our own families or someone who is close, it's a start. But yeah, you're not. Well, we've talked about this in our authors group. It's not weird. We may feel a little weird sometimes, but it's really not. We're really not weird. We're just ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you brought that up. Yeah.
And family can be the toughest one. It can be easier to come out to strangers and clients and retreats, people that have similar values. But I liked how Eckhart Tolle said, if you think you're enlightened, go spend a week with your family.
Yes, yes, yes. And I should have said, instead of family specifically, somebody that you made the connection to. I often think about people who, oh, you know what, I just found another dime. So, I think this means something. So I'm gonna call my sister because she finds dimes too. Whatever it is, just, reach out to where you feel safe. Yeah. Yeah, love it. Okay, so I want to hear about the being stranded on an island. I want to
Oh,
know
sure.
what you would do. What are you going to do on that island? Why would they want
No
you to
pressure.
be? Yeah, yeah, no pressure.
The reason why I think I would be an outstanding person to be on a desert island with is that I'm already unplugged from technology. So I am that person that could make sandcastles all day and watch the sunrise and watch the sunset and go to bed and think that was a great day. So as far as, someone who's already sort of more in the vibe of earth and wind and the land, I would already be that grounded person to say, okay, so we're stuck here. It's okay. Like, first of all, we're okay. Second of all, I grew up in the country, so I'm very used to sort of figuring out what's something good we can eat, what's something not. I was a Girl Scout for 12 years. If it was on the ocean, I know that we have to get big banana leaves and we have to dig a hole, and then we have to put the banana leaf over the hole so that the dew can collect and we can put something under there so we can drink it, because you can't drink the ocean water. With my background in engineering, I can build stuff, or as you like to say, I can build shit. And so
Yes.
we would have a shelter, and I would be smart enough to know about tides. I know all about the animals, so I'd be like, yeah, that's not good. We need to be using our latrine like a quarter mile that way because they're gonna come and find us and eat us when we're trying to sleep. So don't do that. Um, and then after just sort of being there, I'm also 12 years a medical massage therapist. So you sprain your ankle, you hurt your back, you put things out while we're lashing together the bamboo shelter that we're about to charge people to come and do spiritual retreats on. I can fix you. I can literally fix you with almost nothing. So
Awesome.
that would also be really easy. On top of the fact that after we all got settled, I would 100% be the person to just lead you into meditation so we could just attract the people who were going to rescue us.
Awesome. Awesome. You know that all that is leading to a retreat at some point, right?
Great.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Pick the
I,
island.
oh my God. Caribbean. Definitely the Caribbean. They have the best beaches.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, very cool. I love that. I love that. So, I wanted to ask you a little bit about, you talked about your spiritual path and your kind of coming out, which is just amazing. And then you wrote the chapter.
Mhm.
And now you have all this amazing stuff that you are putting out to the world, which is so awesome. And I know that you have brought a little something to work with us on
I
today.
did. So we're recording this during the holidays, which means everybody is feeling the pressure. Whether it's pressure to go home, pressure to be with family, pressure to do something extra, pressure to buy things for people you don't really actually like. There's just a lot of pressure going on. And so I thought, what can I do? So I'm going to walk you through a very short meditation. And if you hear this later, it's still valid. And even if you don't get the video, still valid. It's just a little walkthrough. But what I find is that the deepest fears that we have come up at this time. It's like there's this squeezing volcanic action where the stuff that, yeah, it bothers us and we're kind of afraid for people to know that we want to get a divorce, or we don't actually want to have a baby, or we hate figgy pudding, or we're annoyed that we have to go to 4 different relatives' houses on Christmas when all we want to do is sleep in, eat cinnamon rolls, and watch bad movies. There's a lot of social fear, and but what I'm finding is that it's always just like it comes to a head at the holidays, and people
Mm-hmm.
just are. And I know it's like, well, wait, you were just talking about pressure and stress. What does it have to do with fear? But it's because that fear
Mm.
is underlying. It's underlying every day, and that stress is just pushing down on the fear, and it comes up. It either
Yeah.
comes up straight up or it comes up sideways, and suddenly you're yelling at people that you actually love because someone annoyed you and said, you always pick a fight. That's just who you are. You always pick a fight. And you're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're picking
Yeah.
a fight. So I'm going to walk us through a very quick meditation, and you just need one thing, 2 things actually. You need your imagination, which I love to say is the most, and it's true, the most critical tool to transformation is your imagination.
Love that.
Move to your imagination, because that's the place, especially when we were kids. Remember how easy it was to imagine things. You could imagine you're on a pirate ship. You could imagine playing with all these different people who are around you. And it's that neural pathway. It's that way that we just open up ourselves to unlimited possibility. That's the key to the spiritual path. Just walk in the dark. Just feel your way and say, ooh, what's over here? What's over here? And meet everything with wonder and curiosity. And it will keep opening up to you. So
Beautiful.
bring your imagination and a candle.
I got it. My candle's a
You
little
got
wimpy,
it.
but I got it.
Okay, there's no shaming candles on this show.
Okay. I have to at least show my little candle. At least it's
And the
lit.
reason why is that every candle has a flame,
It's
okay?
true. It's
Just like
true.
every person has a soul. There's no wimpy souls. There's no wimpy flames. It still hurts if you put your little fingy on it. So grab a candle, and you could do this. You can pause the show and do this. But the idea is you want to light a candle, and you want to hold the candle while I walk you through this, and look at the flame while you're doing it. It's
Okay.
gazing. You are eye gazing, which means you're observing the flame as I walk you through this. And it is the first meditation. If you think you suck at meditating, get a candle, light the candle, observe the flame, and watch the flame for 10 minutes. And then blow it out and say, look at me. I meditated today. I might
Love
do it
it.
again.
I love it. I love
Hmm.
it.
That's how the
People
Buddhists
love.
teach children how to meditate.
Is that right? People love candles. You know
Yeah,
how they
it's
do. They're
primordial.
beautiful.
It's
It's
fire.
like sitting around. Yeah, sitting around a fire. Yeah.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
I'm going to
Okay.
walk you through with my friend this drum. So this
Mm.
is my healing drum, and I have a couple drums, and it sounds like this. And that's a good volume, not too loud.
Yep. It's good. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so light your candle, hold your candle, gaze into the flame of the candle, and allow one fear to come to the surface. Big, small, one fear, one flame. And fill the flame with every detail about that fear. Fill it. How long have you been afraid of that? Who knows about that fear? What does it entail to look into the deepest shadow, the darkest spot of that fear? Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And we're going to give you 10 seconds to fill that flame with your fear. Now, open your eyes and blow the candle out. And now I want you to use your imagination, and I want you to imagine the fear is out of your life. It's gone. It has been put out of the darkness, filled into the light, sent to your higher power, released out of your body. Light your candle again. And now, when you hold the candle and gaze into the flame, imagine your life without this fear limiting you. Who can even tell that this fear does not exist within you anymore? How does it change your daily life? I'm going to give you 10 seconds to imagine your life without that fear. So take one breath, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And open your eyes and blow out the flame. And take one last breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And now you're liberated from that fear. This is what your life feels like without that fear. You just took your first breath without that fear.
Love it. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Haven't had anybody be quite that active on the show before, so I love it. It's great. It's great.
Well, the drum was here like, I want to be on the show. I'm like, okay, all right.
Let's
go. They all talk to me, I assure you.
Well, you tell them whenever they want to be on the show, they can come back. How's that?
Yay! We'll do other fun stuff too.
Absolutely. Yeah, very, very cool. So I want to ask you about our own spiritual practices. So individually, what if we ignore this stuff? What if we, what if we just say, yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening. Like, can we actually live our lives without being spiritually connected?
The answer is only for a short time. Because you you basically, the way I like to think of it is that um, you don't have a spiritual practice until you need one. So,
Yes.
until you're broken, until you're betrayed, until there's a death, until there's a deep depression, until there's something that happens in your normal life where you're putting up the picket fence and you're getting the children to school and you're doing what we're conditioned to do, or the Toltecs say what we're domesticated to do, and you know what right is and wrong is, and and all that goes right out the window as soon as there's a sudden death, or there's your child has leukemia at the age of 5. It's like the moment that life cracks into you, then you're on the spiritual path. You had a shamanic initiation, and your choices are one, to die from it, which is completely possible, no doubt about it. I mean, overwhelming stuff happens to us every day, or to look to guidance, look for grace, pray for assistance, get help. And this is what moves us from being just a single person to being in community, is when our life breaks down, all of a sudden we need other people, spiritual guidance. We need assurance that this is not going to be the only thing that ever happens to us. We need to find a way to go through it.
Right.
And the
Right.
goal of life is just to be a conduit for love. So when you are moving sideways and you're focusing all of your life force on a gabillion dollars in the bank, a big house, a car, a CEO position, to the detriment of balance and love and service and things like that, it's inevitable. Those two
Yeah.
things are going to crash.
Right.
And so that's my take on, for a while, but not forever.
Yeah. And what you mentioned was really interesting. I want to just go back to about, you can you can live like that for a period of time, and you can die like that. And there really, there's so many different ways that we can die while living, and I think that when we ignore all of our needs and what's happening for us, and we ignore that we need to be aligned with self,
Mm-hmm.
then we die a little bit every day.
Mm-hmm.
There's that little bit that has us just, we're holding back, we're not expressing exactly who we are, we're not accepting who we
Mm-hmm.
are. So
And
yeah.
I mean, we're all spiritual beings. So that's why I'm saying too, in agreeing with you, you can only do it for so long because it's a longing.
Yeah.
There's a longing to be connected with other souls and other spirits, and there's this confluence of spiritual assistance and guidance that's around us, that's helping keep us safe and move us to meet the people we're supposed to. And it really is steering the ship as much as possible. And it's only when our ego gets involved and we say, I want this, I don't care who I have to step on, I don't care who has to be hurt, I don't care, I'm going to do it because I want it. That's when you're like, ooh, the path to the dark side. And so it's inevitable. This
But
lifetime, next lifetime.
yes, yes, absolutely, and that's a whole other show for sure. I love that piece too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if we ignore it, it's just going to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so aware, be aware of it. Just ask those questions that you need to ask yourself. Allow yourself to open up as much as you're comfortable at whatever different time or part of your life, or whatever section of your living that you're
Mm-hmm.
comfortable doing it in. And I really loved when you said this is really about love.
Yeah,
It really is.
it is.
um
If you're
I don't.
not an artery for love, you're missing the
Yeah.
point. Like, you're not actually alive yet. You still have to wake up. There's still somewhere that you need to wake up to. And
Yeah.
it's I always say, meet people where they are. If you can handle one thing, like, oh, I see the number 11 all the time. Wonderful. That's great. Start there. Start with
Yeah.
numbers. Start with just, I don't know what I want, but I want more than what I have. Like, my stuff, my house and my stuff isn't really doing it for me anymore. I just want more. Great. Start there. Look at the
Yeah.
candle every day. See what happens. You don't know what you're going to see or hear. And we all have those senses, you know, the clairs, the clairvoyant, the clairsentient. We all have them, and we're all waking up to them. So for sure, you have something. You know, maybe it's just your body feels different, or you do see things, or you hear things. My one new friend actually has clairgustopsence. She tastes things. She'll be like, tastes like chocolate chip cookies my grandmother made. I'm like, yes, because you're in your grandmother's house, of course.
Cool. Yeah.
So it could be smell, any sense that you
Yeah.
have, it could be those, but the key is just to say sense. What do you sense? And that, again, goes back to your imagination. If I just said smell something, you just limited it to one thing. But if I said look at the flame in the candle and then sense what's around you when you close your eyes, it's a different experience.
It totally is. Yeah. And I'm still stuck on the love piece, and only because I think sometimes when we are not spiritually connected, or we just are stuck in that fear of how can I really be myself? How do I really make changes? Yeah, I don't like my life, but I don't really know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
When we think about that piece, that it really is that simple, all we really need to do is to be that conduit for love.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of takes takes some of the edge off. It's not that difficult. We all connect to love. We
Yeah.
do. So
Yeah.
it makes it not quite as difficult. So I just want to really hone that in for listeners that,
Mm-hmm.
love is it. That old Beatles saying, all you need is love. It's true. And all you need is to give love too.
Well, and that's exactly the point. When if you move into a place of love, of divine love, you move into the 22 dimensions of what love actually is. And there are 22 dimensions humans can experience in love. So the difference is think about someone that you love for real, not but someone that you truly love. And then you think about when they do something that irritates you, or you think about something that you don't really like about them, you continue to love them, because when love comes into the picture, it stops being about right and wrong. It stops being judgy. And I'm going to love you conditionally, which means I'll love you as long as you feed me, as long as you are nice to me, as long as you don't pick a fight with me, and I have my list of conditions, and as long as you do every single thing that I'm telling you to do, I will continue to love you. That's conditional love, and that is complete bullshit. So divine love is without judgment. I accept every piece of you. I accept the shadow part of you. You get kind of annoying around your mom at the holidays. And I accept the light part of you. This is the best sex I've ever had in my life. So you always move, when you're moving into love, you stop judging, and you stop saying, this is right and this is wrong, and I've got a book, and 12 years ago you said something unkind to me, and I will bring that up every single Thanksgiving until we die. That is failing at Divine Love Conduit 101.
This could be a movie. Especially a Christmas movie. I mean, forget about Christmas Vacation. It's done. This is the Atlantis version of Christmas. Yeah.
Well, and
it's true.
And I have 2 kids that I birthed and 2 kids I adopted, and they were neglected, and they're from a narcissist mom and an alcoholic mom and all this other stuff. So I will tell you, 24/7 therapy means, why did you say that? Well, I don't know. Let's sit down and talk about it. Okay. I mean, if you really get down to it, it's like, well, we know we love each other, so what's this thing on top of it that doesn't feel good? What are you not getting? What's not being validated? What's not being met? And that comes much more from that divine love, or you can think of the symbol of love, which is the sun. The sun shines equally on all of us, unconditionally, without asking if we deserve it, or we're worthy, or we went to confession, or we are a good person or bad. No. Unconditional love is the sun that shines equally on every living being on the entire planet. That is love.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah. Beautiful. 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 So you have some goodies that you want to talk about.
Sure. That would be fantastic. So I do 4 signature workshops. So if you want to hang out and do stuff with me, I rotate 4 signature workshops. One is called Pierce the Veil, and that is about meeting someone who died, who passed through the veil, is the way that we say it in the shamanic tradition. So the veil is that thin sort of the doorway between what you can see reality and the reality of the spirit world. So to pierce the veil is to part those curtains and move through to the other side. So I do Pierce the Veil, meeting up with one of your ancestors. Trust Yourself, which is all about how does spirit talk to you? What is the communication pathway for you and the spirit world? It's going to be something. We're going to sit down and figure that out. Any of the clairs. One of them is soul retrieval, which I connect to weight loss, because a lot of times weight loss is about losing power, and you have to go retrieve your power, which means you have to retrieve. It's called soul retrieval. That's the name that's given to it, but it's really about going back and reclaiming the power that you lost over this lifetime, past lifetimes, but bringing that back together. And one of my many experiences in life is I lost 84 pounds after my son was born 20 years ago. And a lot of that, which I don't really talk about, I have a workshop about it, but I haven't found the right book to put that story in yet.
There will be one.
Yeah, there totally will be one. And that was 20 years ago, and it was about finding myself and finding my power, in addition to what kind of food choices need to be made and what is my body going through and what is it like. So it's the full spectrum. It's
based on your understanding of their body.
Correct.
Right? Beautiful. Yeah.
Which is easy. The fourth one is power animals. So it's about finding and connecting you to your power animal. You have one animal that works through your entire lifetime, and then you have totem animals. So these are other animals that will come in for specific chapters or events in your life to guide you and whisper to you and say whatever needs to be said, how to get you through that part of your life. Then my big one is I do shamanic life coaching. So I sit down with people and set a goal. And the goal can be any of the things I just talked about, or it can be I've had chronic pain in my low right hip ever since my son was born 16 years ago, and I want to figure out why. And I've been through everything. I've been through doctors and physical therapy and pills and medications and surgery and whatever, and it's still there. So what I do is I take, and we set a goal, any goal, and we do 3 sessions. And after, I find that the Trinity, the 3 sessions, always makes progress on a goal. So usually each session is $225. It's 90 minutes. It's everything that I can do. So I can do emotional release therapy. I'm certified as an emotion code practitioner, so we can release the emotions that are causing you pain or distress or part of that story. And it can be ancestral. It could be something you inherited. You can release that too. It could be medical massage, like, well, is there something anatomical going on that we can change? Is it the way you sit? Is it this, the way you're standing? What habits are creating this environment? And it could be a matter of the mystery. It could be just something that's going to come out that you're blocking your spiritual connection, for example. That's happened before too, where as soon as that pathway was open, there's one person who literally, after 3 sessions, doesn't have fibromyalgia anymore, because he walked into the fact that spirituality is a big component of his, and he's 71, and he's had fibromyalgia for 30 years, and now he doesn't.
Wow.
So we do 3 sessions, and it's $225 each, so that's usually $675. But for the people listening on the live stream and on the podcast, if you email me, dragonmedicinewoman@gmail.com, and you say Crave More Life Roadshow rate, I'll do all 3 sessions for $500.
Wow.
So for $500, if you listen to this, you have to prove that you listened to this and that you came and brought the love to Dianna Leeder. And then this is your offer. So we set a goal. We do 3 sessions. I can do Zoom, or if you're in the Great Lakes area, you can come to my office where I am right now, and We could do it in person. But I could do everything that I do over Zoom. Everything. Everything, everything. Believe me, I've been doing it for a long time. Wow. So 3 sessions, $500, and we'll go and move you on your path together.
That's a heck of a deal for what you're offering. Absolutely. Yeah, grab it, you guys. Grab it, grab it, grab it. I've actually had a session with Atlantis, and grab it. Absolutely. Absolutely. She's amazing. Yeah, thank you for that. And thank you on behalf of the listeners, too, for that. Yeah, very awesome. So I have one last question for you.
Ooh, I hope it's juicy.
Well, I hope so, but that's up to you. So I asked this of everybody. And what I want to know is if there is something fun or funny about you that, and we did talk a little bit about this in the beginning, that you don't normally share.
Fun or funny?
Yeah.
Well, I have dyslexia, so I often struggle with questions that are somewhat circular because I'm like, where is that in my brain? I'm sure that there's a lot of things about me that's genuinely goofy or off kilter. There certainly is a lot of weird things about me, which I'm very happy about.
Well, and this is about normalizing and all that kind of stuff. So yes, whatever is coming up for you is great. Yeah.
So one funny thing about me, I don't really like people. I help people. I really I've dedicated my life to people. I'm an exceptional healer, listener, massage therapist, and stuff like that. I have absolutely no tolerance for small talk, and so as soon as a conversation moves into, do you want to get together for coffee? I'm like, why? What are we going to talk about? We're here together. We're doing great stuff right here. Otherwise, no. And I just had dinner with my 3 girlfriends, and that's it. That I have 3 girlfriends. I have a best friend and 2 other people that I brought into the friendship, and it's bam, I'm good. I have a lot of people around me that want to hang out with me, and at the end of the day, because my mom died in 2009, I really appreciate the fact that life is short and fleeting, and that I'm so focused on getting to people, helping people, moving into a place of planetary service, meditating for the whole world, finding other people that do that I don't have. And I have 4.5 kids, and I take care of a lot of people already. So at the end of the day, the funniest thing about me is I don't really like people.
Well, you certainly don't want to take care of anybody else. It's clear. Yeah. Yeah, totally get that. Yeah.
So people find that really odd about me when they finally figure it out. But my best friend and I love to tease about it. I said, yeah, they just don't get it. She's like, no. And she's been my best friend for 18 years. Her son, she has 3 kids, and her son and my daughter are the same age, so they are just about to graduate. They're seniors in high school and just about to graduate. And as far as, one other thing, the hot chocolate connoisseur is because I'm half Mexican, so I make my own hot cocoa with baking cocoa and cardamom and cinnamon and agave and maybe a little bit of nutmeg and 3 different kinds of milk. I have oat milk, unsweetened, almond coconut milk, unsweetened, and then grass-grazed cow milk, and I'll change the amounts depending on what I want and what my kids want, because I just make them this on a whim anytime they want it.
Nice.
So that's where the connoisseur comes in, because I am a complete snoot when it comes to hot cocoa.
And do you share your recipes?
There's no recipe. That's it. It's alchemy. So it's put some cinnamon there. Put cinnamon in as if your life depended on it. That's my best advice. Just as much
love
as you
the
can.
cinnamon. Love the cinnamon. Yeah.
High quality cinnamon.
Yeah. Good idea. That's awesome. And you know what? I want to just say too, just to really hammer this down for listeners, is that you knowing, not about the cocoa, sorry. I mean, the cocoa's amazing, and I'm gonna go and try what you suggested, but you knowing what is okay for you relative to sharing your time. is awesome. We all need to do that. We
Yeah.
all need to be aware of where our limits are, right? So once again, it's a place for us to get to know who we are and to be who we are. So I appreciate that in a huge way. Yeah.
And to your
Cool.
point, I know how I need to operate to channel the most amount of love into the world.
Yeah.
And I have figured that out, and I've made mistakes, and I've done incredibly stupid things, and learned from the mistakes. But this is where I operate the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
And that's what we need to know, right? Yeah. Cool. I love it, love it, love it. You're amazing. This has been cool. Is there anything else that you want people to know?
Just no matter where you are, it's likely, if I haven't been there, I have been through a lot. So if wherever you are, somebody has been where you are. And it might be me and it might be somewhere else. But just know that wherever you are, you can get to the further shore. You can get to the next waypoint. You can step on the spiritual path. You can get through whatever it is you're going through.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And I love all your advice and all your suggestions. Yes, back to you too. And yeah, I appreciate it. I know listeners are really going to appreciate it too.
Great.
And listeners, thank you so much for showing up today. Appreciate it. I know that you, as I just said, I know you're going to enjoy this particular chat. And yeah, connect up with Atlantis. If you're on the live now, we're going to pop in some contact information in the comments. And we all the show notes will have for the podcast itself. All the show notes will have ways that you can connect with her. So yeah, thank you, and just know and remember that just by showing up today and listening and letting that everything you heard sink in, that's kicking your own ass. That's taking responsibility for whatever is happening in here or in here, and deciding that you want to think a little more, contemplate on it. So thank you for doing that. So take care. See you next time. If you like today's podcast, hit subscribe at the bottom on your way out, and come find me at cravemorelife.com for even more DIY ass kicking.